Alright, friends and neighbors. Welcome back. It's another stream of Subnautica. We have about 16 things probably that should already be done, and honestly I feel like if I was a more organized, productive individual, we would have them done. But what we have done so far is we discovered an island, thanks to one of the viewers saying that there was an island. Turns out that was like a giant thing hiding behind our crashed ship. We watched another ship try and rescue us, and it was very sad because it turned out that the alien building was in fact actually a cannon. So that was poor news. I saw my first, I think, maybe for sure this time, a Leviathan. Also discovered super creepy crab things, which, I don't know, they looked kind of like halfway between like a face sucker from Alien and replicators from Stargate SG-1. So yeah, and we are really close to being able to build a base. I will show you how close. So, we can do, here are all the things. We can make all of these fabulous compartments and tubes and things like that. And I think we can make a really wonderful looking sort of like I think if we were a fast food place, I'm pretty sure that a kid would want to come visit with all the different types of tubing that we can build. And I have plenty of titanium. Well, I don't really have plenty of titanium. I have a lot of titanium, and I have a lot of glass. So that'll be fun. I can also build an aquarium at this point. I know how to build a sea moth. I can build lockers and storage lockers that go inside, but what I really, really need this time is a multi-purpose room, which means I need to go scan more things. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But I can build all these other really interesting looking things, and I think it's a little strange that like my computer is made to like at the beginning it told me you are going to be like your PDA, which is what this fabulous thing is going to just like analyze your environment, and it will tell you how to survive based off of like what's around you and how you're going to do. And it cannot fathom, for whatever reason, how, and I mean I get it, like some of the data was corrupted, but I feel like a multi-purpose room would be easy to figure out how to build, because what is this thing? It's a room, and I can count at least like one purpose, whatever that is, 2 purposes, 3, 4, 5, I'm gonna count 5, 6 here, 7 purposes just here, 8, I mean if you count a ladder going in and out, I suppose that's a purpose. This is definitely a multi-purpose room, and I feel like my PDA should just get on board with me. But, you know, it's whatever. Let's see what our water situation is like. Oh yeah, we made lots of water last time, because we're awesome. I would like to go back to that island and kind of explore a little bit. I'm gonna need like a, no, I think I built a storage locker to put stuff into. It's always creepy every time I go down here and it's nighttime. My collection of lockers. Aren't they beautiful? Big fan. Alrighty, you're full. I wish I could like mark them as full. That would be super helpful. Okay, we're gonna put all of our stuff in here. Actually, I want to keep the salt. Where's the salt? Salt. And okay, we've got all these live batteries and that. Okay, you're full. And you're full. I might have to go, well, there we go. Build like more storage. But, you know, it's whatever. I have some concern because I'm not seeing my O2 decrease. There it goes, okay. So I must have been just right above water. I'm not sure how that works. Oh. I got this thing up. Okay, is there anything else that's not super useful that I'm carrying with me? I mean, I guess I haven't used the fire extinguisher yet. I haven't really used my flashlight yet. Or the habitat builder. But you know what? We're going to keep those. We're going to keep those. I guess I'll put you in there, even though I know I said I was going to keep it. I know I did. Let's just have that much water. We'll drink one. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. This is a good amount of steps. What should we do? We should go. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I remember. I have a goal. Specific. I want to build a compass this time around. Oh, look at that fabulous moon. It really just looks like it's kind of just hanging above the water. Like, I think, like, I get that the real actual moon is three-dimensional, but I think that they went a little far with how three-dimensional this looks. Like, it's so three-dimensional, it looks like it could be just like 150 feet away. That's a totally arbitrary number, but it looks like it could just be, maybe not 150 feet. It looks like it could be like, I don't know, 500 yards. I'm bad at distances. Regardless. So, I think a compass is going to be helpful before, and maybe a rebreather. Oh, doggone it. I really do want to make a base. I just can't figure out what would be most useful early on. Copper wire and a wiring kit. That means silver. Hey, it's dawn. The moon is still out. See, it looks a bit further away, I guess, now. I don't know if that's to do with the clouds. This is just a gorgeous game. I know I've said that like every single time, but it really, really is. Alright. I happened to notice that there was more gear. Well, not more necessarily gear. More like, this is really fun. There seemed to be more stuff. To like collect in terms of I can speak. Just generally more like limestone deposits and stuff closer to the wreckage and closer to that big island, which is also exciting. Like, I'm not excited about the weird crabby things. I will be a sea moth fragment. So, alright, we already have a sea moth field, but I wish I could just play around and open those. Do you need more salt? I'm just going to collect a ton of food. Metal salvage is so big in my inventory. That's sad. I guess we'll just focus kind of on foraging and finding this stuff, and hopefully... Ooh, nuclear waste disposal. So that's exciting. I mean, the United States is pretty bad at that. A scanner room, that's cool. I really need a multi-purpose room fragment. I need a few of those. But you know what? It's okay. This is an okay start. Some more salt. This is good. This is good. Oh, inventory is full. See, that freaks me out a little bit. Why does everything have to be so scary? Oh, it's because it's that. I mean, I know that they move slowly, but like... And it's so like... Like, I kind of want to go by it because I'm super curious. But also freaks me out. You know what? Our inventory is full, so I guess we'll just... Whoa. Sudden resin. But is there anything cool down here that we can scan?
Passing 100 meters. Oxygen efficiency decreased.
A trash can. We'll just scan the trash can. I feel like I get that if I was legitimately sent back in time or something. What are you? Why are you so angry? Okay, that was rude. Okay. We're fine. Like, if I was sent back in time, like, I mean, you look at, if you've, you know, all of us who've read A Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court, like, if you got sent back in time, or, like, suddenly set back in terms of technology, a bar table.
30 seconds.
I just, you know, there's a bunch of things that you feel like you know that you totally wouldn't know. Like, you'd be back in time and you'd be like, oh man, I really super miss, like, my oven or my microwave. And they'd be like, yeah, whatever, those things don't exist, that's super weird. And you'd be like, no, really, like, what you could do, instead of having to go through all this business of, like, making a fire and stuff, is you would just have this box that you would put your food inside of, and then you would press a button. Oh my gosh, is that a forklift? Oh, we want that. So you'd be telling them, like, yeah, 100%. I totally, you could just put, I don't know why I say 100% all the time, but, oh, I can't have a forklift, that's boring. You could just put all your stuff, your food that you want to warm up, into this box, and then you press a button, and it kind of goes boop, 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 you know, and then it does, like, it heats up, and it takes, like, a minute. And they're like, yeah, no, it actually takes, like, half an hour to heat something up from start to finish. And you're like, no, this is what it did. It was a microwave. And they'd be like, yeah, well, how did it heat stuff up? And you'd be like, well, microwaves, because that's what it's called. And then they'd be like, what's a microwave? And you know, somewhat well-studied in science, but not super well-studied in science, would be like, well, and I mean, maybe you'd get there where you'd be like, hey, it's a really long wave of light. And they would be like, what are you talking about? And, like, the amount that you would have to back up just to be able to make something, or describe something and make it sound like it was a real legitimate thing, I feel like would get depressing really super fast. Which is why you find, you know, like a Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court was making, like, safety pins, and that was super cool. I can't decide if that was just a movie or if that was real in the book. It's been a while since I read the book. Regardless, though, I feel like it's important to go back. Subnautica survivor person. They didn't even let me name him. Seems like it's a dude. Let's call him Chad. Chad seems to be pretty good. Chad doesn't sound like a guy who would consider that he would be able to have programming skills for the fabricator. And I mean, even in Star Trek, they're all like, hey, yeah, I programmed it to do, you know, this, and so it totally makes, you know, whatever. Like, I hacked it and now it makes real alcohol, which I don't think, yeah, that is a real thing that happens in Picard. So I just feel like the long story short is that absolutely we should be able to make a table without having to go around and find a bunch of tables. You know what I mean? I hope so, because I just spent a while talking about it. But yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time thinking about, I have spent a lot of time in my life thinking about, like, if I got sent back in time, what skills would actually be transferable? Like, I understand, generally speaking, the need for, like, fire and stuff, and I think I could get some, like, basic blacksmithing going, but I think I would have a really difficult time trying to get the villagers on board with, like, yeah, what we really need to do is collect these rocks. So, like, dig a deep hole, and we're gonna collect these rocks, okay? And, oh, I need to put this in here. And we're gonna put it on a fire, we're gonna heat it up, no, much longer than that, and metal is just gonna melt right out of it. Like, to me that sounds like it would be completely ridiculous in terms of, like, and then I'd be like, we're gonna melt it out, and then we're gonna make something with it. And I mean, I guess it depends on, like, whoop, did I lose my thing? It depends on how far back in time you went, because obviously, like, if you're not going too far back, you can find, like, they've got basic smelting, but still. Okay, now we've got plenty of titanium. I might need to build another locker. That's what we should do. But, because, like, I could go back and be like, hey, if you want, I can calculate how fast that rock dropped for you. And they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, yeah, as it turns out, everything falls at, you know, a rate of 9.82 meters per second. And they'd be like, huh? And I just feel like I would not make a very convincing character. I feel like they'd be pretty disappointed in, and I'd try and, like, be like, no, really, this is a real thing. Like, if I had to convince somebody that, like, atoms are real, or, like, cells are a real thing, that would be difficult. And I mean, I'm a science teacher, so I think I could get there, but the whole business of, like, having to show somebody, like, here is a cell, look at the cell, do you see the cell? This is a cell. I feel like I would struggle with that, because then I would have to, like, make glass, which is important, so we can magnify stuff. I mean, it's not like you could just take, like in Tinkerbell, and just roll up a leaf and put a dewdrop on the end of it. Actually, I think that's out of the bug's life. I think that's what happens at the beginning of a bug's life. But I'd really struggle with that. I'd have to, like, build a whole microscope for that, and I don't have those skills. Like, I don't even know how you would find, I mean, I guess I could go, like, I mean, to find silicates, I don't know. A compass would be helpful here. Alright. Like, to find silicates, and then how hot do you heat them to get it to be glass, and then how do you make it be a lens? Like, I understand it has to do with the curve of it, but, like, but how much to do with the curve of it? And I mean, I understand concave lenses, but, you know, I know this is a long rant about it, but I just feel like there's so much of what I do right now in life that doesn't make any sense. Like, if I tried to explain to them that we just spend a heck of a lot of time in front of like a box that has a whole bunch of lights per square inch, and we use that in part to learn. Come on, thing, leave me alone. We use it to learn stuff. We use it to watch cat videos. It just doesn't even. Hey there, Dallas. How's it going? I'm just ranting about how useless I would be in the past. Would you just, you know what? Your face wasn't even toward me. Why do we have to be this way? That thing absolutely looks. Oh, they're like the cruise liners of giant fish. Do I later find out that, like, if I were to go and explore those, the barnacles on top of them are on there? They're all doing wonderfully. We accidentally decided that it would be a really great idea to set up this pool that we got as a gift a few years ago. It's been hanging out in the basement, and I've spent a few years believing it was like a 12-foot pool, which is still large, but we already had like a blow-up 8-foot pool, and I thought 12 feet would be manageable, and then we opened it, and like I dug it out of the basement. Yeah, it's not an 8-foot pool. It is definitely, it's not a 12-foot pool, rather. It is a 18-foot pool, which is very much larger than I expected. Why not a basement pool? You know, when we were building my dad's house, I was like 7, and they had to, like they were trying to dig everything out, and they hit bedrock way sooner than you're supposed to, I guess, when you're digging out basements. So they had to do this huge blast, which was really cool. We didn't get to be there for it, but I mean, as a 7-year-old, I was just elated to be a part of the process at all, in that somebody told me about it. And it ended up, we had this huge, huge hole, and then they tried to pile everything up. And so we had these huge, really fun pools of, or piles of dirt and everything, which is a whole wonderful thing on its own. But then there ended up being just this fabulous, huge hole in the basement, which, as I'm thinking about it, probably was like somewhat purposeful because we needed like a sump hole. I'm not sure who named sump holes, but that sounds just awful. Anyhow, it was full of water, and while the house was not finished and everything, we would go to the basement, which had been poured and everything, and initially we put just a board across it, and we would walk across it and try not to fall into the water, because we were told do not fall into the water because it's probably not safe, which makes perfect sense. Like, it was a blast hole at the bottom of a construction site, and so, you know, there's all kinds of like muck and tar and probably nails and cement pieces, rocks, lots of sharp things. And so my mom very smartly at the time was like, don't go into the pool. But she was not, and maybe she was busy. She was busy. She was definitely busy. But she was like, hey, there's that bar table I scanned. She was like, yeah, just don't fall into the pool. No, it gets better. So we, stupid Muppet fish.
30 seconds.
So we spent a lot of time going over the top of it, and then we would like, you know, we start making up rhymes and stuff as children. I don't remember any of them, but we'd just be like singing stupid songs and like, oh yeah, you made it across, oh yeah, you made it across. And then we started like tossing rocks to splash at whoever was like going across to try and make them fall. And then eventually, of course, that led to somebody falling in. And then as soon as somebody fell in, we were like, Mom, it's probably fine. Look it. Like, I don't remember who fell in first. It might have been. And it might have been on purpose. This stupid Muppet is just making my life something else. So we show up and we're like, obviously it's safe because somebody already fell in. And she was like, fine, whatever. Go swim in the fabulous basement hole. So we did. And that's my experience with the basement pool. As an adult, I understand why nobody wants to have a basement pool. Having experienced leaks in the basement, not exciting. But the 18-foot pool that's in my backyard right now, marginally better. It's not on a super flat surface, so there's like, I'm calling it, I'm choosing to see the silver lining. And I'm just gonna say, like, you know, there's a shallow end, and there's a deep end.
30 seconds.
What? Okay, my person was, poor Chad. He was definitely freaked out by whatever that was. So, like, is that tiger thing able to get me from, like, really far away, or is it... is it just that I saw it and got freaked out? That sounds like Chad. The floater fish are cool. So I feel like the floater fish are going to come in really handy another time. When I am able to... I just really want there to be more cool stuff in the wreckage, but there probably isn't.
100 meters. Oxygen efficiency decreased.
Like, what if I drop a rock into that hole? Can I do that? I mean, this hole isn't that... How much did I have left? Not a ton. I probably shouldn't use it on quartz. Ah! You just can't stay still for anything these days. Alright, fine. Have I thoroughly checked out this wreckage? Probably, right? I'm just so attracted to it. It just seems like, this is like kids playing in junkyards. You just think, wow, maybe it could be useful. I just want it.
30 seconds.
Well, fine. I guess we'll head back. Oop. It takes so much longer to get to the surface nowadays. I mean, I probably should use my air bladder thing. I don't know if that goes faster than the sea glider or not. Ah, he's like coughing and choking, poor guy. I really want those guys to go away, but I also am really curious what's on top of them. Like, it looks like it's just barnacles, but like, if I hit it, is it going to be like some super special ore? That would be fun. I guess we'll head back. Drop more stuff off. I guess we should make more batteries. But I need, let's see, I need copper wire, I need silver ore. Hey, is that one of those, is it going to be brain coral, or is it going to be one of those jellyfish? I discovered jellyfish, that's a fun thing. Well, this is exciting. So I think, like, I mean, I guess I can write as a skill. I don't know if that necessarily counts. In terms of going back in time, I'm kind of stuck on this. But you know, ooh, I can make a new thing. Oh, I've learned how to make it. Okay. Well, I don't need to penetrate anything right now. So, I'm quite familiar with that non-need. Yeah, let's make some titanium. This would be good. Make a battery. Also important. Now, titanium ingots become important later. We should be good. We're probably going to need another locker, let's be honest. Alright. So then, let's go. Do we need more food right away? Food is actually fine. We need more water. First we'll place this locker. I'm sure organized people see this just maze of lockers and wonder what could she possibly have been thinking. But, you know, sometimes you just gotta do you. And I is a messy. Okay, so we've got lots of room in these deals, which is good news. Alright. We're gonna go to our grab trap, see if we get any, hey, ladderfish. This is great. How much salt do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Any more ladderfish here? Any? There you are. Hi, friend. But yeah, this pool that we got, I am vaguely concerned for. But I think we'll end up doing okay. Tomorrow at 9:15? Yes. I even came up with a backstory, which I am pretty proud of. Which is great. Considering we made up the character in like 15 minutes, I think that this should be good. It's gonna be a lot of fun. For those unaware, it's for RPG gaming experience. I don't know. Remote RPG gaming. It should be a lot of fun. Thankfully, I mean, I've never done RPGs. I've observed a few RPGs. So like I saw, I guess tabletop RPGs. I've played a few video game versions, obviously, but I've seen Dungeons and Dragons played a few times. Oh yeah, and I had to go make water. But I've never actually played myself. The last time I actually was involved, like when I was observing that Dungeons and Dragons game, I was, and I mean this is a little bit sad, but what I was doing, I was with, it was a group of guys that I called affectionately the nerds, and they were playing. Oh yeah, I did see what happened to your poor book. It's so sad. But it's got character. It's like it came into your life with damage already. Like, everyone's got baggage, right? It's the saddest thing. But it's still readable, right? It's not like there was water damage. Water damage would be even worse. It could be moldy. Your moldy RPG book would be just this really sad. Do I really need to carry all this water with me? I mean, obviously I want to, but But yeah, well, these other guys were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I mean, I get it that they weren't going to just invite me into their game. I didn't have a character, which takes like an hour to build, and I didn't know how to play, which is another factor. So what I did was I went over to their kitchen, and I know you might think you know where this is going, but it's not. So they had this giant pile of garbage because they didn't take out their garbage super often, which might sound super gross, but can't get out of the giant coral tree, that's a bummer. Because of how they lived their life, which was above a Little Caesars pizza place, they got all of the leftover, like, $5 pizzas back when that was a thing. I don't know if it's still a thing. I haven't been to Little Caesars in a while. But at the end of the day, they would go there and they would get all the, like, leftover $5 pizzas, and they would get all of the leftover sandwiches as well. And so those would all come in boxes. So most of their like garbage was just fast food and pizza related. So it wasn't anything that was like particularly smelly. Stupid Muppet fish. Ugh. So it wasn't anything that was particularly gross because, as we all know, fast food never molds. So I went into the kitchen for it, and I know you might think you know where this is going now, but you don't. And what I did during their like 2-hour campaign time was build a castle in the kitchen out of pizza boxes and like whatever sandwich situation was going on at either Little Caesars or like Fazoli's, something. It came in a box. You're returning the book? Why would you return it? I mean, I guess you can return it, but what are they going to do? They're going to have to sell it as like a scratch and dent now. 20 days. So sad. So sad. Maybe we'll be done with the whole campaign in 20 days. You're going to have your beautiful... Oh, I don't want to go by him. You're going to have your beautiful, pristine book, and we'll be done. Done playing all together. You can tape it. "28 Days." It's a good movie. I think I watched 28 Days Later after I watched 28 Weeks Later. And I mean, at a certain point, zombie movies are kind of interchangeable in terms of like sequels and that. So I don't really blame myself. The first time I watched it though, I showed up, we had snacks, it was at my friend's apartment. Oh cool, whole big salt apartment, that's cool. I need to get that laser thing going. And she had a studio apartment, so her bed was like right in the... Nope, I remember those things. They look at you, and then they tell you to do stuff, and then